I got a lot of questions about how we send 3 emails a week for my client Dustin, and it fuels his $1 million business. Because over the past 3 years, he's generated over $2.5 million and sold out over 18 consecutive high ticket group coaching programs with an email list. We started about under 600, and now it's about 2,000 subscribers. The big thing is that while everyone says you need to be everywhere and post all the time and you need to grow your following and do all that, we don't really focus as much on the following as much as the follow up. Because if you're putting a ton of energy into content that disappears after 24 hours or fighting with algorithms and putting so much of your time and energy and focus into a lot of this outbound content, but you're starting conversations with people and some of them are buying, but most of them, over 90% of them typically aren't buying, at least not yet. You need to do more of this follow up with them. And it's really, really simple. I know a lot of people, they are thinking of a newsletter in their head. They think email marketing is either some type of magazine that they need to send out every week or every month, or it's just this like burn and churn style of direct response marketing. But there's a third option, and it's this email authority system that I install for businesses to sell high ticket offers through email and grow businesses through email. So what is this 3 email rhythm? So it's a weekly structure we've been using for Dustin and my other clients for years. We send 3 types of emails every week. So let me break them down for you. First, we have the proof email. And this is where we show specific results. It's either you or your clients. And we want to be really specific here because, and this is where the proof email works so well, I like to base this off of specific conversations you have with clients and specific results. So it could be something as simple as, hey, remember that Amazon category strategy I shared last week? I just checked and I'm still ranking number 3 in the 1 hour business week, right? Show the screenshot, like haven't spent a dime on ads. Show that. That's a proof email. And that's almost like a case study of yourself. A lot of the times, they're the emails with the most relatable results. So a really simple example with Dustin is we have a strong case study of a client who went through Dustin's process, implemented it, and basically within 4 months, she changed her business. So she started getting a bunch of more clients. And the big case study is that at the end of the year, she was at like 6 figures of recurring revenue every year from working 2 jobs. And so that was a huge transformation. But that email didn't do as well with one that was about internal transformation. So about a client who wanted to reach out and get more business and grow, but she was too nervous to reach out to people. But with the support and the systems, she did it anyway. And now she is getting results and growing her business, but not anywhere as extreme as the first case study. So the reason I share this with you is that there's a lot lower bar, not for proof, but for the outcomes and results. Because the goal of these proof emails is to more clearly explain the results that you get for people. I'll say that again. You're just looking to make the results and your process more clear for people. So that leads us to the second email. And the second email is as close as we get to a newsletter. I call it the insight email. And it's where you teach one idea, not 5 tips, not a whole framework, just one clear, useful insight. I'll focus on what problem am I solving here? Now, what's the solution? Now, what's one word that describes that solution? And I make the email based off of that one word. So for example, when I talk with book clients, a lot of clients they pick their Amazon categories based off what sounds good, and that's not going to get people results. What I like to do is you find similar books that are already selling, check their categories, and look for low competition. So that's it. It takes 10 minutes and is a huge visibility boost. Now, what would the one word for that be that the whole email hinges upon? And for me, I view the idea of validation as that idea. So you don't want to overly focus on the competition. You don't want to just wing it and pick your categories in a vacuum. You want an idea and a category that's validated. And so you do that by looking at the best sellers and you get inspiration, and then you can pick and choose which categories you want based off of that. And that's going to give you a much stronger book foundation because you can already see that books about the thing that they were writing about already has success in this category or that category. But maybe if you're writing a book on email marketing and you post it directly in the marketing category, it's going to get drowned out with more like ambiguous pop psychology books or Alex Hormozy's $100 million offers. But if you put it in direct response marketing, it's going to break the top 10 and stay there for a year. That's how I think about these inside emails. The third one is the most exciting to me because it's the sales email. And I call it an invisible test email because we're not making a hard pitch. We're having something conversational. And these emails could be a single sentence. So I think of it almost like you're sitting at lunch or at a bar and you overhear them talking about a problem they have and you say, oh, like, I'm actually putting something together. Like, would you be interested in that? I actually just sent out an email to my list about this because I'm thinking about, instead of writing the book for someone for a very high ticket price, I want to put together a small group where between my system for organizing and writing a book and a few AI tools, we can actually do this in a group setting with a lot less time and effort to get a high quality book within 30 days. So I'm still testing that idea, running it by a few people, putting the group together. I'm going to launch that in early December based on the feedback. So I'm actually curious what your thoughts are if you want to share them below in the comments, because that would be super helpful to me. And I'll let you know first on this channel when I put that out. So now, each type, here's where this gets super powerful. We send these emails out 3 times a week, every single week. So with Dustin specifically, we have his Saturday newsletter with his insight. We have Wednesday for the client of the week email, which is our proof. And then typically we'll do our invisible sales question on Friday and we'll pair that with content. So the hook for the email will be, hey, I have this new podcast on X, Y, and Z. By the way, I'm putting this thing together. Here's some information on it. Let me know what questions you have or what you think. And this is how email can really multiply, because a lot of people, the biggest questions I get on email is, okay, well, what's the ROI of email? And I can sit here and quote the studies that say that from HubSpot or wherever it was, that email has a 42x ROI based off of the money that you invest in it. Or I could say how Alex Hormozy can point to his business and say 45% of our revenue comes from email, because email went up, revenue went up after we started sending these 3 emails a week. But the biggest thing is using email the right way. So with this system, you're like 85 to 90% there. What I also like to do with email is ask for referrals, get answers to questions to help co-create your offers, and set up sequences to help people get more value out of your coaching or services as well. So yes, you want to look at your engagement rates. You want to look at your sales coming from emails. I know that it gets a little bit hazy and a little bit messy. So the number one lead measure that I have for email is, am I sticking with this calendar? Because I know over time, I'm going to see 4 to 5 times more sales after 90 days, consistently sending these emails. And that's the real magic of email. If you continue focusing on following up instead of getting more followers, you're going to see these numbers back out, where every person who gets on your email list, from picking up a lead magnet or getting on a call with you or whatever it may be, as long as you keep continuing the conversation in this way and hitting these notes, right? Because what we're doing is giving more proof, and validating offers. So like, as long as you continue giving proof, you're going to move people over time to see you get results. This is a way that they can solve their problem. And eventually they're going to reach out again, or they won't. And if they don't, then they were probably never going to buy from you in the first case. So just to simplify it, 3 emails a week. The proof email shows results. The insight email teaches one core idea. The soft CTA, this invisible test, offers help. I like to keep them short, between 200 to 300 words, make it easy to read on mobile, use real examples. And then I like to rotate what I offer in the soft CTA type of email as well. And if you're just selling one high ticket offer, let me know because it would change a little bit for that as well. So that's typically what we do with Dustin, where we sell just, his core flagship $10,000 offer. Even if you have a small list, and you're not using it, you're still missing the easiest path to consistent revenue. Because most people with small email lists, they've built those lists based off of people who have booked calls with them over the past 90 days, 6 months, 12 months. And so let me know if you want a copy of the full email cash flow playbook, which has more email examples, more stuff that you can use to sell 3 to 5 high ticket offers from your email list every single month. And that's what I got. Just comment cash flow below and I'll send that to you. Peace.